craft beer aficionados, Flying Brian J here. Quickly, let's talk about this barrel. So I'm not just using it for decoration, I'm actually barrel aging a barley wine in here right now. I've got 1.5 gallons of barley wine in here. I'm really excited to try it. I haven't tried any of it yet. Yesterday, I bottled a few bottles of it and I put 1.5 gallons in here. Should be done in about 5 days. The barrel was not used for bourbon prior to me putting beer in it. It was brand new. Got it from my lovely girlfriend for Christmas. I'm super excited to try this beer eventually, but for right now it's got about 4 more days to sit in there. And of course, I will be reviewing it when we pull it out of there once it's carbonated right here on this channel. But for right now, we're here to talk about Summit's Extra Pale Ale. On Untapped, it rates 3.5 out of 5 and has 45 IBU. As you can see here, artwork kind of lacking. Color scheme's pretty cool. I love the yellow with the blue. If I have a brewery someday, maybe I would go with the yellow-blue mixture as well. Let's get a gander at the bottle here. It is an extra pale ale, which is something that is interesting. Made in St. Paul, Minnesota by Summit Brewing Company. Alcohol by volume, I think, where does it say it? Yes, 5.2% ABV. It says to enjoy by 1.7. Oh no. We're out of the range. Well, I hope that doesn't affect the taste. But anyway, let's pop the top on this damn thing and get her going. So it has a ton of clarity. This thing is real clear, looking real good. Still has some bubbles coming up from the bottom. Really light color for a pale ale. Of course, they're calling it an EPA, an extra pale ale. So yeah, really clear, pretty decent level of carbonation, even though I gave it kind of a crappy pour here. You know, we only got one finger ahead from my pour, but I'm using like probably the wrong glass for it, but I haven't used this glass on the channel yet and I wanted to get going with it. The glass is from Blue Blood Brewing out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Someday I'll review some of their beers, but for right now, let's get a nose on this one. It's got a really weird aroma. You know, it's got a slight, what I think of when I smell it is, you know, it's not a craft beer, but Corona. I'm thinking Corona when I smell it. Slightly citrusy hop character coming through. Oop, touch my big old nose with it. Got it right up in there. Yeah, I'm smelling Corona and a slight citrusy hop. I don't know, maybe some very, very mild amounts of Cascade hops late, but you can kind of smell it's mostly base malt. There's maybe some caramel 40 in this baby. It's mostly like a Pilsner, a 2-row, maybe a 6-row, I don't know, whatever. And then some caramel 40, little amounts of caramel 40 or very small amounts of caramel 60. But the minimal color that this thing has and the vast amounts of clarity means that there's no wheat malt, which, you know, there might not be wheat malt in a pale ale, but mostly 2-row Pilsner 6-row, very slight hop character. Let's get a taste. Again, a slight Corona taste. I almost wonder if that's because I'm not drinking it in time. I would love to try a fresh one to give this beer a real good shake. It says on the bottle, drink it by 1.7. Today is 1.11, so we're 4 days behind. And it's in a brown bottle, so I wouldn't expect it to be skunked, but it's got a slight Corona feel to it, which, you know, most Coronas, they come in those clear bottles. It's a shitty little Pilsner or lager, and it's mostly skunked. And this beer tastes and smells a little bit skunked. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it's because I didn't drink it in time, but let me try to dive in and see if I can find more of the real flavor from the thing. Yeah, we got some slight sweetness. I know it has 45 IBUs, but I'm not snagging hints of the bitterness at all. So I said there's the slight smell with the citrusy hops. So I'm guessing there, you know, is mostly 60-minute hops, a little bit of tail end 5-minute knockout hops. And then, yeah, the caramel 40's cutting the bitterness. It's not crazy bitter. This would be, if you wanted to introduce your buddy, who he's only about them blue cans, man. He's only about that Coors Light, that Bud Light, man. Like, hey, man, there's no better beer than that Busch Light, buddy. You want to try to get him into some craft beer. I think that this is the style of beer you get him. You get him an extra pale ale, maybe a Summit that's not out of date, and maybe he could meander his way into some craft beers. This is sessionable. It's 5.2% alcohol by volume, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check on Untappd. Yeah, 5.2% alcohol by volume. It's not that bitter despite having a 45 IBU rating. The slight sweetness is coming through from the malt character. There isn't any hops that's hanging out on my tongue. The mouthfeel, real smooth. It's there and gone in an instant. Overall, easy drinking beer. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt from the slight skunk character. I'd love to try a fresh one, but it does seem a little skunked. It seems a little bit, something's wrong. I don't know if that's the real beer, but I'm going on what I have right here in front of me. This gets a 3.25. Sure, I would drink them if somebody brought them to the party. If somebody was like, hey, Flying Brian, I heard you like craft beer. Why don't you drink some of these? I'd be like, well, they're free. I'm gonna drink them. But I would never buy a 6-pack of this again. Maybe 3.25 is a little too good for saying I would never buy a 6-pack again. I would buy it again in a mixer sixer. I would like to try it again. I'm giving it a better grade than never drinking again because it is sessionable. I could have a few of them and still have my wits about me, but it's just not great. It's really not. It's lacking in all areas. Originally, I thought extra pale ale. I was thinking like somewhere between a pale ale and an IPA, and I was like, wow, that sounds neat as shit. I didn't realize they meant like extra pale. Like super light in everything. Anyway, 3.25, guys. I just can't really recommend it. I cannot really recommend this beer to you. I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm giving it a 3.0. 3.0. Final verdict. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you drink, don't drive. Do the watermelon crawl. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers and namaste. Something's wrong with that beer, I don't know. Don't really like it. Some of the bitterness is happening late, but maybe I'm immune to it. But it's just not a great beer. It's just not. It's just not a great beer. Sorry, guys.